I am Tony,
I'm Louie.
and this is Talking During the Movie.
Movies!
It's getting better each time.
Each time a little bit better.
We have a special treat for you today because we're doing something a little out of the ordinary. Normally do our blockbuster or Oscar type picks, usually. The exception being Spring Breakers. But we've got something fun for you this week.
First of all, I wouldn't discount that Spring Break. In fact, you feel the need every time for a backhanded thing about Spring Breakers. So therefore, I'm going to go on record right now that movie will be nominated for at least one Academy Award.
Well, so is Norbit. That doesn't really make it a better
I'm just
film.
saying you're acting like it's just completely discounted.
What is it going to be nominated
Just because it went over your head does not mean it doesn't.
I think it went under my seat. That's what happened. Anyway, this week we have Jackass Presents Bad Grandpa.
Which I texted you and said, I think we need to do a show about this. Were you surprised that
A little surprised, but I know you see like a wide variety of films.
Oh, yes?
Yes, and I don't hold that against you. I mean, you have this broad palette that you like. You like a little bit of this, a little bit of that,
I see it
That's
as a
perfectly
duty.
fine. A duty, yes.
I see it as a duty to our
That's why you do it.
and the people that look to me to sift through all the garbage and whatever's out there for any nugget I can find.
Do you find a lot of nuggets while you're panning for movies?
Well, I did this weekend.
Yes, I think we both enjoyed this movie. Surprisingly.
Imagine a Borat movie or the Bruno movie that doesn't really hurt anybody's feelings. That doesn't really go
Right.
out of its way to make anyone look like a criminal.
Yes.
It's not mean-spirited, although I don't know that it's as clever necessarily or as witty or from a highbrow sense, but I think that they made a very sweet buddy picture. If you've seen the preview, you know that it's about an old man and a little boy, and they end up on a journey together.
Yeah, it's a road trip movie.
It's a road trip movie between an 80-year... And at first, the 80-year-old man is not particularly happy to be with the 8-year-old.
Right.
It's about those transitions, and basically they filmed a movie and its plot where 90% of the people in the movie don't know they're in it
Right.
until later, which is pretty amazing. And they were so lucky with the little boy.
Yeah. He's quite good.
He's quite good.
He's good for what it is. I don't know if you put him in a Steven Spielberg period piece, how well he'd do. But for these purposes, he does exactly what he needs to do to get these stunts to work, to get the scenes to work.
And you can tell that they don't always apprise him of exactly what's going to go down.
Right.
Because there are times he is clearly and sincerely shocked, and his little face goes all red, and you can see this look on his face like, we are so going to be in trouble for this. We so probably aren't supposed to do this.
They feed him just enough to get it to work. But yeah, surprisingly sweet. Because you're used to seeing like these Jackass type movies where they just go out and they make fools of themselves.
And the closest I've ever come to vomiting in a motion picture house was the last Jackass 3D. I mean, I was walking. I'm not kidding. The closest I've ever come to, and that's saying something.
Yes.
To hurling in a movie theater was the last one. There's nothing like that here.
Nothing that bad.
No.
There was some stuff that is genuinely shocking and laugh out loud funny. Like, oh my God, I can't believe they're actually pulling this off.
I kept thinking it would be such a great movie to take your 12 or 13-year-old son to. Because they're going to think it's one of the greatest things that has ever been captured on film. I can't imagine if I were 12 years old seeing that with my father. I think it would be a biblical experience.
I would probably push it to 14 or 15. Just give them a couple extra years. There's a lot of stuff in here that's grown-up stuff.
Well,
but I don't know about 12, but yes, I think young boys would appreciate the Three Stooges type of silliness and nonsense that goes on in this film.
Okay, what do you think would be the closest to like crossing the line of, okay, maybe not this scene?
Where's the diner scene?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's scatological, and kids are pretty,
Well,
okay.
you don't see it coming, and then, oh my God, they pulled the stunt off, and the
Right.
poor people around them reacting to it.
To me, the only thing that might give me a little bit of a squeamish feeling about taking an adolescent is the penis caught in the vending machine gag. which requires the use of a prosthetic and
I hope it was a prosthetic.
and many screeching African American people that are witnessing it, jumping up and down in absolute horror, and that to me is the one that's like, okay,
It's like, ooh,
okay,
ooh,
we're
maybe.
oh,
I don't know. Maybe kids. Maybe you may want to go get me get a coat.
Although, can you imagine if you were 12 years old and I would have been on the ground. I would have thought there's no way you could top that laugh.
Just yeah. If you managed to like catch this film and you were that young, and you would be hysterical.
Yeah.
Hysterical, and that'd be all your buddies you would be talking about the next day at school, the next couple days.
But I could tell people were very suspicious when I suggested that they go see this movie.
Mm-hmm. If you can, because yeah, like you said, the stunts aren't that bad. So if you can handle like 70% of that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people get thrown through windows.
yeah.
People,
I mean, it's a
there's-
very familiar plot.
There's some gas
Yeah.
humor. And,
But it's
you know.
like you said, it's just enough to justify all these stunts, and they managed to fit in most of the stunts pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel like there was a lot of shoehorning. Like, all right, we want to do this. How do we get into the story? There really isn't too much of that.
No, it seems to roll pretty naturally.
Yeah.
And most impressive to me is how they wrap it.
Mm-hmm.
And wrap it around, and I'm not going to ruin it, but
Yeah.
wrap it around those biker guys who that had to be a touch and go thing to get through that scene and not get the crap beat out
They
of
had
you.
diffusers just waiting just off
I
camera to go
had
in
to
and-
be, because that I was.
And see, that's I think, a part of the draw of this movie is that knowing these people and what they do for a living, and knowing that they're trying to make a movie, they give you just enough at the beginning to tell you what's going to happen.
Right.
And then you have to wait for it to happen. And you're just, ooh, it's almost like a thriller, like a Hitchcockian thriller, where you know the killer's in the closet, and you see the blonde walk into the room, and you're like, something's gonna go down, and you have a pretty good idea of what's gonna go down, and there might be a surprise or two, and you were just waiting. Oh God, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
What are these poor innocent people going to do? The ones that didn't get their faces blurred out.
Right.
Oh God.
Well, and the thing is this,
And that's part of the fun.
to stay obviously for the credits, because that's when you really realize that
Right.
no one was harmed.
Right.
And the people seem genuinely tickled about how they've been duped.
Yes,
into this.
do stay for the credits. Yes, it's worth it.
And the other thing that you can tell from the credits is how very much they adore the little boy.
Yes,
You
I
could
think
tell
they,
that the
they
cast-
wanted to make that clear that,
True that they really that they
Yes.
thought this kid was
that
something.
this
pretty
kid was
special.
not being taken for right. He was
Oh,
in on the
no.
joke,
and
and
loving
that he
it.
was well taken care
And
of.
it looked like
and
he's
that they
having the
loved
time of his life,
him. Yes,
and was surrounded by people that cared about him, at least
Right.
for now.
and you could also see they must have had dozens of stunts that did not make it into the movie, because you see setups like that happened. Where did this happen in the movie? So there was just hours of footage probably that just for whatever reason could not make it into the movie.
There's one other really excellent aspect that makes the movie work. I mean, Johnny Knoxville, it goes without saying. But the choice that he made, they make him look great. He absolutely looks
Believable,
You
yeah.
believe it. You could buy
It's
it.
not like old people makeup. You could buy it.
And as is his performance, he's not working around. He's looking like some guy that you'd see living at the villages that can still drive. Who's, like kind of a feisty coot, and,
Right.
and you totally buy it. He's
Yeah.
not limping around. He looks like some guy that buys his, slacks at Target, and he wears them 3 days a week. And
He's convincing, and that's what helps sell it. Is that he's very, very convincing.
yeah, and so is the affection between the two characters.
And I love the scene when they're outside of a diner. They're outside of a diner, and the guy is approaching him, and he goes, and I don't think this was scripted. He goes to the boy in the car and says, "Watch this."
Right.
He is a master of pushing buttons and knowing how many times you can push that button and get the response that he wants. Like he was giving a lesson to the kid that was completely unscripted. It's like, we know we're messing with people. And he sees his target and he's just like, watch me bait this fish. And he goes and you see him pressing his buttons. When to press them, how many times, what buttons and he just gets exactly what he needs.
Now, to be
And
sure,
it's almost like a master class
him being a dick.
in being exactly in dickery. And
Yes.
and you as the audience gets to watch it unfold. This is just like watch Papa work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I was in a very diverse crowd the late evening I saw this, and you would think we were at a revival meeting. There was so much hooping and hollering and slapping of hands. Now, I can't say that this will go on in every theater, but
Right.
the one I saw it in, there was a collective consciousness that was definitely joyous. And as we were leaving, I heard somebody, I think in a tank top, say, "That gets 10 thumbs up from me." So again, this isn't Woody Allen.
No,
It's not, it's not an Emma Thompson.
this is not Merchant Ivory.
No, it's not.
No.
No.
No, this is not the
It's
the
hardly Hal Needham, God rest
Right.
his soul. But it is, if you're game,
Yes,
I think you're going to really have a good time.
it is surprisingly good.
We're in complete agreement about this.
That's 2 in a row, and 2 completely separate films. Wow, we're on a roll.
Now, some things. What are you looking forward to coming next?
I think next I'm going to see Thor, but I'm not like, oh God, Thor is coming out, woo! So, but that's like the next big splashy movie. So again, obligated, I think.
I feel in the same way that one has to file taxes. I feel that my presence has been demanded to see 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
And even though I'm assuming that it is going to be a grueling, gruesome toil, I almost feel like it's my duty to sit through it. Although I'm not looking forward to it.
And of course, the Tom Hanks Walt Disney movie coming up.
They're very proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very proud of
I
it.
feel like the trailer gives away a lot.
Too much.
Too much?
Well, especially one point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, I
Yeah.
wish I.
It
got
tells
to
you
see-
basically what the third act is.
And
And you're like, ooh, so I hate it when they do that. Like you gotta leave me something.
but I hear it's charming,
Yes.
and they're
So,
very excited about it.
looking forward to it.
All right.
All right. Well, once again we're in complete agreement.
Yes.
So I look forward to our next time.
Talking during the movie.
Talking during the movie. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Adios.